may 7 minutes pa ha to present.
Wala.
Saan 7 minutes na lang?
May group ko na ba dito? Ayun, si Kuya F. Opo, 7 minutes na lang.
Sige,
Pinopost ko nga pagka nag-i-interrupt si Judge para hindi masyado ma-consume.
Sige. Thank you. Nasaan na si Tita Mary?
All right. I'll continue, Wendell. All right. You're answering a while ago. Continue.
So there are three main gates. There are three gates in the University of Batangas. So if you're facing the university building, so the one in the left is the exit for the vehicles, and the entrance for in the right is the entrance for the vehicles, and in the middle was the main entrance. It was right across the pedestrian crossing.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. At night, how does it look in that particular location, Mr. Witness?
It was the main entrance was well lit. It was the most lit part of the university outside during the nights.
Okay. Mr. Witness, I am showing to you a picture of the scene of the crime dated January 27, 2020. Can you identify if this is the exact location where you were at on that night, Mr. Witness? The front of the...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, the witness has identified the picture of the scene of the crime. The prosecution requests that the same be marked as Exhibit D, Your Honor.
It was not previously marked before during the preliminary conference.
Hello, Your Honor. Not yet, Your Honor.
Prosecutor?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes.
It was not previously marked, but it was reserved. Did you make reservation as to the marking of the same?
Your Honor,
What?
yes, this is the first time. Yes, Your Honor, this is the first time that we are presenting the scene of the crime picture.
But you made a reservation of that during preliminary conference.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Proceed. Okay. Continue.
Okay. Mr. Mirabel, you mentioned that you and the victim, Moy Moy, were heading to the Caloocan Xerox Center. Where is this exactly located?
So it was exactly located just right across the pedestrian crossing, sir.
Just okay. So this is fronting the UB main gate with the pedestrian crossing, and then straight ahead is Caloocan Xerox Center. That's
yes,
parallel. Sir. Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Witness, were you able to get the books alike that night?
Unfortunately not. Only Moy Moy went to cross the street because I saw Mr. Ronnie Mojado and we engaged in a little chit-chat by the main gate.
Can you describe the exact position where you and Mr. Mojado were at on that night?
So we were just outside the gate, standing and looking on the streets.
From your location, are you saying that you see everything in front of you?
Yes, sir.
In front of the main gate?
Leading.
Yes, sir.
Leading yon.
Objection.
Okay.
Leading yon. To paraphrase your question.
Mr. Witness, can you describe your exact position that night?
So we were facing the streets and on that position, so we clearly see everything in the front of the main gate. So we were clearly seeing what happens in the right just across the street.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Do you recall any unusual incident that night in that exact location looking out to the street, Mr. Witness?
Yes, sir.
And what is that unusual incident, if any?
Moy Moy was crossing the street and in a split second, I saw a vehicle hit my classmate Moy Moy on the exact pedestrian crossing.
Did you clearly see the vehicle that hit Moy Moy, Mr. Mirabel?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe the vehicle that you saw?
So, it was a Ford Everest.
Do you remember any details of the vehicle, Mr. Witness?
Yes, it was a gray Ford Everest with plate number DOM 1234.
Mr. Witness, I am showing to you a picture of the said vehicle. Will you be able
Objection,
to
Your
identify...
Honor.
Hello?
Hello? Objection, Your Honor.
What's your ground?
He's already showing the picture.
Again?
Your Honor is showing the picture and the witness did not clearly describe what vehicle it was.
Your Honor, I am presenting the photo for my witness to identify the same.
Was there any confirmation from your witness that was able to identify if it will be shown to him, or did you ask him to describe? Hindi pa naman niya na-describe ng ayos.
Yes, Your Honor. They have not described it.
I already described it.
He did.
You just said gray.
Okay. For the record, Mr. Witness, can you reiterate the description of the vehicle that you saw that night?
So it was a Ford Everest. With a color gray and with a plate number of DOM 1234.
It was a color gray Ford Everest with plate number DOM 1234, correct?
All right.
Okay, I'm showing to you a picture of the vehicle, Mr. Witness. Please identify if this is the same photo that you are referring to.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Your
Excuse
Honor, the
lang
witness
po.
has identified.
20 minutes na po.
Okay. Prosecutor, kindly make it a little faster.
Okay. Your Honor, this is previously marked as Exhibit E, Your Honor. Okay. Mr. Witness, is this the vehicle that hit Moy Moy?
Yes, sir. That is the vehicle that hit Moy Moy.
Mr. Witness, how come you were not able to warn Moy Moy of this oncoming vehicle?
Sir, It was very fast, and it didn't have any headlights on. I was shocked at that time.
So the vehicle was speeding very fast without any headlights on, correct?
Leading.
Okay. Mr. Witness, how fast was this vehicle
Leading yun,
running?
leading.
Okay. I'll proceed to the next question, Judge.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Witness, you were saying that the vehicle was fast. Can you remember an estimate of how fast the vehicle was that night?
I'm not sure about its speed, but it was fast at about 50 to 60 kilometer per hour, I think.
50 to 60 kilometer per hour within the school zone. Mr.
Objection,
Witness.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay. Mr. Witness, was the pedestrian
Paraphrase
crossing?
your question.
Okay. Mr. Witness, was there any school sign and traffic signs in this premises, Mr. Witness?
Objection, Your Honor. It's the leading.
Can you okay. Mr. Witness, can you describe these premises that you are referring to?
So usually it is a school zone, so there are a lot of signage. So specifically there are first the school zone sign and the pedestrian crossing and no blowing of horns, I think.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Witness. Mr. Witness, earlier you identified the identity of the vehicle. Why was it so certain to you?
Objection, Your Honor. It's leading.
Your Honor, the witness has identified clearly the identity of the vehicle.
But we're not sure if the witness really is familiar with this vehicle, as you have put it.
No, Your Honor, the witness has mentioned that it was familiar to him.
O, nasa na? Nasagot.
Mr. Witness? Mr. Witness, let me reiterate my question. Why are you so certain of the identity of this vehicle?
So I was about more or less 10 meters away from the vehicle, and when I saw it hit Moy Moy, and it was too familiar to me.
Why was it familiar to you, Mr. Witness?
Because it was owned by my friend and classmate, the accused Mr. CEFERINO.
After seeing the vehicle hit Moy Moy, what did you do next, if any, Mr. Witness?
So we rushed to Moy Moy. He was bleeding profusely and unconscious. Then the guards and the other people rushed to us. The vehicle sped away towards the direction of the startle way.
Mr. Witness, just to be clear, the vehicle did not stop to help and surrender. Correct?
Leading. Leading yan.
Okay.
Leading. Go to another point.
Okay. Mr. Witness, are you saying that the vehicle that hit your friend and the vehicle of Mr. Reginio is one and the same?
Objection!
Leading.
Okay. Mr. Witness, does Mr. Reginio have a driver?
None that I know, sir.
Does he use the same vehicle every day?
Yes, sir. Every day.
Okay. Mr. Witness, would you know if Mr. Reginio attended the class that night in legal logic?
Yes, sir. He attended the class that night.
And why are you so certain that he attended this class, Mr. Witness?
So, as my classmates know that I am the assistant beadle in the class and I keep the beadles late because our class beadle is always late.
Okay. Mr. Witness, I am showing to you a beadle slip on dated January 27, 2020 for the legal logic class. What is the relation of this document to the beadle slip that you are referring to?
That is the beadle slip for the class, and I checked the attendance that night because Moy Moy was late and everybody was present, including the accused boss Rino.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, the witness has identified the beadle slip dated January 27, 2020 and previously marked as Exhibit F. The prosecution requests that this said document be permanently marked as Exhibit F, Your Honor.
All right, mark it.
And no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross.
Mr. Witness, you said the accused is your friend. Are we to take that you know him to some extent?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you say that he diligently prepares for his classes in law school?
Objection, Your Honor.
Hello?
Ariel?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. What's your question?
Would you say that he diligently prepares for his classes in law school?
Objection, Your Honor. That is irrelevant.
No! I am trying to establish the character of my client.
All right. The witness may answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Before I proceed, it appears that the prosecution was not able to identify the accused positively. Tama ba? Naituro ba?
It's single. Excuse lang po, Judge. Single screen po kasi ako kaya hindi ko po kita yung iba. Pero nakita ko po si Sir Rino kanina. Kaya
Hindi mo tinuro!
Dinescribe naman.
Tinuro niya.
Tinuro niya.
Tinuro ba? Okay, sige.
Okay, tinuro niya, iba lang yung turo niya.
Kala ko tapos ang book. Sige. Okay. Is he able to answer in recit, Mr. Witness?
yes, ma'am.
Did he pass all his subjects last semester?
Objection, Your Honor. That is irrelevant to this case.
I am just trying to show you
Oh, you
that
go
my
to-
client is very diligent. Hello?
Ariel, you go to another point.
Is it true that Mr. Reginio has a habit of going to LBN for 2 bottles of beer after class?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it also true that Juan Joel Bartolome usually goes with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever join them, Mr. Witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Does Mr. Reginio go beyond 2 bottles of beer?
Sometimes.
And when he does, is it true that he hitches a ride with this Bartolome person?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that?
Mr. Regino doesn't like to drive when he exceeded the 2 bottles of beer. So he hitches with Mr. Bartolome.
So he's very careful. Did you ever hitch a ride with Mr. Regino?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he a reckless driver?
According to my experience, no.
You mentioned that you were supposed to get the books to like with the victim. Why were you not with him when the accident happened?
Because Mr. Ronnie Mojado called me and he asked some questions with me, and we had a little chit chat.
So what did you and this Ronnie Mojado talk about?
Objection, Your Honor. That is irrelevant again to the case.
Your Honor, I was just trying to see
You go
if
to
you
another
were aware of. Are we to imagine that as you were having this conversation with this Ronnie Mojado, your eyes were fixed on the road?
Yes, ma'am.
You never glanced at the person you were speaking with?
Maybe I glanced to him, but for a short time. He was smoking at that time.
Split second, things can happen in there. So, okay, since we're talking about what you've seen, let's establish visuals further. Illumination, Mr. Witness. You said earlier that only the front of the campus is a well-lit area that night, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it was dark.
No, it was illuminated. It was the most lit part of the university on the outside.
So did you see the moon, Mr. Witness?
Objection.
Maybe I saw it.
Your Honor, objection.
What is your ground?
It's irrelevant, Your Honor.
No, but we are talking about illumination, lights, visuals.
All right. You just ask that question and then you go to another point.
So did you see the moon, Mr. Witness?
Maybe I saw it, but I didn't remember it.
You don't remember? Well, perhaps there are other things that you don't remember well. Well, do you have a car, Mr. Mirabel?
I don't have one.
But you've seen cars, SUVs, passing you by at night, correct?
Yes, frequently.
Would you agree that when it is dark and there is no light coming from the vehicle, you could not clearly see what's inside the vehicle? Could you see what's inside?
No, ma'am.
Then you could not have possibly seen that it was Mr. Regino driving said vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Okay. Mr. Witness, were there any plans of drinking out that night?
Yes, there was a plan drinking that night, but it was canceled.
And may I know, Mr. Witness, why was it canceled?
Because Mr. Regino was not feeling well. I think he was suffering from diarrhea at the time.
Okay. Mr. Witness, for the record, does Mr. Regino go home right after class if you don't have any plans of going out?
Yes, sir.
Irrelevant. Objection. Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm trying to establish that the accused,
What is your question again?
It's leading.
What is
Okay.
your question again, prosecutor?
Yes. If there are no plans of drinking out, does Mr. Regino go home right after class? Mr. Witness.
That's leading.
See.
Cannot be.
Okay. Mr. Witness, what is the usual route of Mr. Regino after class?
So if there were no plans of drinking, he go home straight.
goes home right after class. If there are no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions, Your Honor.
Recross.
Mr. Witness, you know that the night of the incident, it was Mr. Bartolome who invited Mr. Regino to go to LBN, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know that Mr. Bartolome works for Generica,
Yes, ma'am.
and that he always has sample medicines with him, correct?
Your Honor,
Yes.
objection.
Ay, nasagot na.
That's irrelevant. The medicines are not related to this case.
Yeah. Again. Ano, what's your question? Ano question mo, Miriam?
If Mr. Bartolome has medicine with him, because on the night of the incident,
That's irrelevant.
he really
It's
had
not
That's
part of
irrelevant.
the.
Yes.
No, it's not part of the redirect. You just ask in the recross those touched during redirect. It was not touched during redirect.
Mr. Witness, hello.
Hello.
Are you aware that Mr. Regino was able to get diatabs on the night of the incident?
No. No, ma'am.
Well, for the record, he actually was able to get diatabs. And they were able
Diatabs.
to-
Saan galing yung diatabs?
Objection, Your Honor.
Diarrhea.
Saan galing yung
Objects are
diatabs?
relevant.
Anything that is not touched during redirect cannot be asked on recross.
Mr. Witness,
Naliligo
Mr.
yun.
Mr. Witness, is it true that when you got back, asked to ask help from classmates, Mr. Regino was already gone,
Yes, ma'am.
and so was Mr. Bartolome?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. The witness is excused. All right, thank you, Mr. Witness. All right, next case.